Okay, today I want to talk about a different ret spec than the classic. It's still a deep ret without reckoning. 16.035. It also works all out like 20.031. The basic idea is as you get hit gear, like it's too easy to cap out hit, and precision is not really worth anything, and improved Devo is not worth very much for retribution. So you're paying a whole lot of points just to pick up improved Guardian Favor, which is a great thing to have, but I mean, is it really worth 7 talent points? And I'm gonna have to say, yeah, it probably is worth 7 in about half the circumstances, like Ice Mage and Hunter, or if in the battlegrounds your warriors are gonna want the longer freedom, or the mages are gonna want the more often bops because you get reduced timer on bop as well. But you get quite a lot by not taking those 7 points, and also it is said if you don't have a lot of hit chance, then of course you should go down the couple of points in the prot tree and pick up precision. But as you gear up, like let's say you got the Crow Mag boots, and there's so much plus hit gear out there that you will accumulate over time. Don Julio's and Lionheart. Right now, I don't really have enough hit gear to be doing this build because it forces me to use my Lionheart helmet, which is a pretty good helmet. But if you look at my HP, it's like 3,700. I actually had to use my Myrmidon ring instead of my Painweaver, which I would not normally. I'd go Painweaver if I'm going deep ret, but I gotta have more HP. I mean, it's ridiculously low. But I get my 5% hit with my arm bracers, Don Julio, Lionheart, and Onyxia too, without having any precision at all. And while I had to sacrifice some HP, eventually you don't even have to sacrifice any HP, as you get like maybe you have Crow Mag boots or whatever they're called, the red ones, and there's just a couple of Onslaught Girdle, for example, Annihilation Gauntlets. So some of the cool things you can now pick up, like you could pick up maybe one or the other before, but now that you have around 7 to 9 more talent points by doing nothing in the prot tree, you can get Vindication, Pursuit of Justice, max out your parry. Parry is so much more important than people give credit for too. It's really frustrating. Like, I mean, get his parry. It's great in PvP. I don't know what to say about that. It's actually something that bothers me. Some people just think it's 5%. It's like, yeah, but it's a game changer. Like, you block a sword strike that would have procced another sword strike from Immortals. It could literally prevent 2,400 damage. So, I mean, obviously 1% crits worth more and stuff like that, but also parry can randomly block a cheap shot. It can randomly block a gouge if you're not already CC'd. So, always fighting rogues and they're always bitching like, oh, you're so lucky, if this wasn't a blocked or this wasn't a blocked, then it's like, well, that's why I spec that way. And some really sweet options open up in the Holy Tree. You can get Unyielding Faith now, which 10% to resist fear. Actually is pretty good in dueling situations, especially. You put on your Shadow Resist gear and you're fighting a Shadow Priest, and then you stack that extra 10%. It's actually better than you might think. It's really frustrating for them. And then improved Healing Light, that's pretty awesome too. Something people don't know is that, at least on Elysium, it doesn't give you 12% of your entire Holy Light, it's just your base Holy Light. So whether you have plus 100 spell power and healing or plus 600 plus healing, improved Holy Light will give you the same amount bonus. So it actually works. I mean, just saying, sure, it synergizes more with Holy, but it gives a Ret Pally the same amount of healing, really, ironically. Something people don't think about Unyielding Faith also, which is a big deal. They see, oh, resist fear, but also resist disorient. So if you're like me, where I'm using 5 parry, stronghold gauntlets, a 2-hand weapon, so 11 parry, and then another 10 disorient, if I'm if I'm not already stunned and a rogue just tries to gouge me, it really screws with their day, because guess what? Gouge is disorient. Grenades are all, I think grenades are disorients. I think rocket helm's a disorient. Like, there's a lot of things that just randomly blocks, and it will, it's just icing on the cake. You're not really relying on it, but it really screws with people when it works. And combined with parry, when we're talking about gouge, since it's always frontal, if you're not already stunned, that's literally a 21% chance to just ignore a gouge. Another really powerful option by dropping the points in the pot tree, and this is truly powerful later on when you have your AQ40 gear and it has all that random int thrown in there for you. You can pick up Illumination. And what's so good about Illumination is you're in your AQ40 gear, you got your spell power, so you got a lot of plus healing, even though you're not building for it specifically. You have a lot of int. You have Repentance. So this is when this build gets really hot. You can Repentance your target and heal, and you improved Holy Light. So it's actually going to be a big heal, and if it crits, you get your mana back. And actually, you even get 1% spell crit from your AQ40 gear as well, so it's just something to think about. That is a really strong build. If I was just doing dueling too, I wouldn't even get Consecration. That way I could get 2 points in Unyielding Faith with maxed out Illumination. Because you don't really consecrate much in a duel because it's so much mana, and if whatever you're doing with that fails, you're gonna be SOL. Like, if they get out of it and they reset the fight, that's gonna be a lot of mana to drink back. So consecration's not that big in duels, but while in real PvP it is, and also it kind of helps a little bit with rogues. Not as much as you might think, because a good rogue can actually walk between concentration ticks and still get a sap off on you and stuff. So, yeah, but having Illumination in combination with Repentance is something you can do now, and now you're really like this perfect hybrid of healer slash DPS. So I definitely feel like this build is not that great for early game Retribution. If you are going to do it early game Retribution, a good early game suit is Lightforge, because it does have enough intellect in it that you can actually utilize the plus healing. But the dream suit for this would have to be the full AQ40 Righteous Champion gauntlets and the Dark Edge of Insanity. You have the mana pool now, so as long as you can keep the interrupts going in the fight, you can keep healing yourself. I mean, you won't have as much mana as obviously like a Holy Paladin or something, but for a guy that's wielding a two-hander and hitting pretty damn hard, it's pretty impressive. I would say this build is still going to be inferior even once you have all the gear for it, like all the weird plus hit Masked Dragon slaying rings and etc., to a traditional classical ret. When it comes to fighting, not the top of my head, like an Ice Mage or Hunter, like I kind of mentioned that earlier, but if you think about it, like, you really need that improved freedom probably more than just about anything else. But there's a lot, like a Shaman, a Rogue, probably even a warrior, I would probably take this build, especially a shaman. That would help a lot. Well, so I guess whatever you want to spend your talents on would just be up to you, but I just want to get the idea out there like, hey, you're spending quite a lot of points to go down the protection tree for mostly just improved guardian favor, and like most of you guys are realizing how easy it is. Most of you guys that got your paladins up to 60, how easy it is to get overcapped on hit chance. And I think right now, where the game's at right now, Blackwing Lair, it's not super viable, but like I said before, it gets very, very viable around AQ 40. But still, even if you have all the best gear in Blackwing Lair, you're definitely going to be overcapped, so it's something to consider. I guess now I need to spend the rest of this video. I just want to talk about positioning as Ret and the battlegrounds. Like I talked about it in one of my other Ret videos, but I can kind of show it now when I'm talking about you're like not the Vanguard unit. And if you've been watching this clips I've recorded, it kind of shows what I consider the correct positioning for a Ret Paladin. So the Vanguard units that I've talked about in the past, Mortal Strike Warriors being kings of them, Reckoning Pallies, maybe Feral Druids, they run up there, they're tanky DPS, they lead the way. The more damage you do to them, the more damage they can put back. Ret doesn't want to get hit like that. Like I've mentioned in the past, they want to do jousting moments where they run through and hit someone and then run past them. So you're not just getting hit for no reason. You're trying to take as little damage as possible. But if you get hit, it's not the end of the world. So you still should be, in front of your casters and stuff. One of your main goals is to, an organized pre-made, would be to heal whenever your main healers get silence or cursed tongues on them. So the wrong thing to do is to go total ape shit and use all your mana spamming judgment just for a little bit more damage. Like in duels, there's a lot of times where you want to do that, but in real PvP, you want to keep your mana bar pretty healthy, and you need to be the oh shit button. You need to be the bop. You need to be the freedom. You need to be the max rank holy light when there's a silence. You need to be the lay on hands. And you also want to bait people into not liking you. Like if you're doing all this stuff correctly, people are going to get pissed. And they're going to notice that you're just stacking strength because you're just assisting the main warrior. And they're going to see how small your HP bar is. They're going to try to nuke you, and then you're going to shield yourself, and they're going to waste all their cooldowns trying to go for you. So there's this perfect balance you can reach, and it really gets a lot easier if you go 20-0-31 and you have the tier 2.5. Like I said, I kind of undergeared for this, but anyways guys, day is full. Good luck.